we go. Hi, this is Michael Cohen. I'm a Dallas elder law and estate planning attorney. I'm joined by my friend and cohort, Don Crawford Jr., live from his, well, at least live on this podcast, live from his hotel room in Rochester, New York.
Go figure.
What can we say? I mean, it's the vacation spot of Western New York.
No, it really isn't because there's no spring here. Apparently, they've been lamenting the fact that it's just gone from winter to summer. They missed the spring apparently because it's still here about 45, 50 degrees or so sunny, but dark and was dark and gloomy the last 6 months apparently, like every day. And now they've just skipped spring, so I have to deal with that as well as other things. So,
Well,
oh
just
well.
think about those crispy apples that you'll be eating
True,
on a daily basis.
true.
I could almost see the apple crumb pie coming from, well, I would say that, but our next podcast, we'll be talking about things that you should avoid,
Okay.
the sugary things. When we
Yeah.
talk about the pointer study
Okay.
for the Alzheimer's Association, that may not be it. The apple might be fine because the
Right.
apple a day keeps the doctor away.
True.
Congratulations, you're in good health.
I'm
Uh,
trying. Mhm.
you might ask for a second opinion, though.
Mhm. Right.
Uh,
Always.
today's topic is about Anna Nicole Smith's poor estate planning. Why do we talk about this now?
Yes.
Well, because her daughter, Danny Lynn, went to the Kentucky Derby, and when we're recording this, this is in May, and the Kentucky Derby was at the early part of May, and she's always kept this private life, except for that one day a year where she dresses up and goes to the Kentucky Derby. With under the custody, well, she had been under the custody of her dad. As you may recall, just going back in history and time, Anna Nicole Smith was 26 years old, a former Playboy, I think even centerfold Playboy bunny. She got a lot of exposure for
Yeah, that's
that, so to speak. And she married, and even more exposure was that she married an 89-year-old billionaire oil tycoon by the name of J. Howard Marshall. Well, it wasn't long after they got married. He died about a year later, and she claimed a good portion of his estate.
I bet.
But he didn't name her in his estate documents, and the litigation went on for quite a while. It went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, years of litigation, and she lost. She won here something in Texas, but then it was all determined too. So then what happened? But she still had several million in her estate, but, and she had a will. And the will said everything to her son, Daniel. Well, Daniel, and it said specifically to nobody else, no other children. I don't want anybody else claiming that they're my child. And there was no contingent beneficiary.
Wow.
So what happened? You know, life is not perfect.
No.
There's no guarantees on anybody on who dies first.
Nope.
And he died 2 months before she did. Oh, but there's no named beneficiary. There's not an ultimate beneficiary. There's not a contingent beneficiary. Well, that's a mistake. Always when the lesson number one, always when you have named somebody as a beneficiary, always have a contingent beneficiary. If my spouse dies, it goes to so and so, child or whomever. If my friend dies, then it goes to so and so. Whatever it is, whether it's a specific bequest or even a just a saying a share of my estate. And we always have an ultimate beneficiary. What's an ultimate beneficiary? If everybody dies, then it goes to church, charity,
Right.
whatever. It's a
Sure.
typical thing, or heirs at law. You always say. But so what happens when you don't have either one of those, which was the case of Anna Nicole Smith? Well, Danny Lynn happened to be born 5 months before she died. Well, under laws, there's a thing called pretermitted heir, which means that when you don't have anything, it goes by laws of intestacy. And so, in this case, it goes to the one and only surviving child, Danny Lynn. Now, then, of course, there was a big uh, lawsuit on who was to be have custody of Danny Lynn. On the birth certificate, it named somebody, Howard, but they had a DNA test that said 99% to a guy named Larry. Larry Burkhead was his name, and he's been in custody of Danny Lynn ever since.
Okay.
Well, when the next mistake that was made is because there's no contingent beneficiary or anything like that, basically the courts had things held in trust until the child reaches the age of majority. Well, now she's of age of majority.
Mhm.
And so she could do with her money whatever she wants. If she goes the Kentucky Derby and vote and does whatever she wants, hey, I'm going to live a long time. I'm going to bet the wad.
Yeah.
She's chomping at the bit. She has free reign, so to speak.
Okay.
Or will she have any horse sense? I don't
Hmm.
know.
I don't either.
So anyway, she could do whatever she wants. So typically, when you have a will and there's a beneficiary who's not that they're over the age of majority, typically they're immature. So typically you have a what I'll call as an understated age beneficiary trust until they're 25 or 30. It's for the health, education, maintenance, and support. That's typical. You can have a certain percentage, certain part at 25, certain part 30. That's very normal. But since she didn't even name her child as a beneficiary, there was no such thing. So now you're at the mercy of whether the child will spend all the money. Remember on Whitney Houston's daughter,
Mhm.
uh, she got a big large amount before she was old enough and wasted it all on drugs.
Yeah.
She was influenced. Well, anyway, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. So, so one lesson, another lesson that we should make is always, if there's somebody too young, generally you have an understated age beneficiary trust. Another lesson is whenever there's a life-changing event, marriage, divorce, birth, disability, maybe if you're concerned about creditors, somebody has an addiction, any of those type of things, you should or maybe just with time, that you should look at your plan just to see if things have changed. Life changes, relationships change.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's family issues,
Mhm.
sometimes there's health issues, sometimes there's money issues, sometimes it could be any number of things. And so you just because you did, let's just talk about if even let's just talk about tax law. All right, what was the estate tax limit in 2001? How much can you pass without there being any estate taxes federally? 600,000. What is it today? 15 million. So have things changed? Did you have some, sometimes people do these different planning, but thinking about what the law is now or what it could be and could be good, could be bad, but how do you know? And you're probably not going to keep up with all that stuff because
Mhm.
it's not your world. And a lot of times people don't even like to think about things like that.
No, that's true.
So, so another thing that she failed to do was take in consideration not only that her son died, but she had another child. What's another lesson we learned? Well, Anna Nicole Smith was all in all of the news. When you have a will, it's a matter of public record.
Right.
And all this fighting on who's in charge, he could have said who's the guardian is. Still, now natural guardian is going to be the parent. But anyway, um, if you wanted less, if you want more privacy, you have a trust. She's a star, or what, not necessarily, maybe not a star, but
Right.
she was in the
Celebrity.
headlines, that's for sure.
Right.
Especially with after being in a battle for the estate of a billionaire with a 63-year age difference in marriage
Right.
was quite the story at the time. That was back in probably the 1990s.
Mhm.
So it's been quite a bit time. So you have to be old enough to remember that. But
Right.
obviously, when you have an 89-year-old wealthy person marrying a 26-year-old, you have to wonder,
Sure.
to say the least. Well, anyway, so I think but there are obvious lessons here, as we mentioned, and really everybody should look at their situation and see if anything has changed. It may be that you're all perfectly good and fine, and it
Mhm.
may not be, but life changes always constantly, and laws change constantly, health changes constantly, relationships change constantly.
Right.
So you have to look at your own individual situation, and uh, Anna
You know the
Nicole
best way to
Smith
do
is
that.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a yeah, we do have an estate planning, free estate planning, a seminar or workshop is what we call it, because we ask people what they want to know.
And you have it every month, right?
Yeah, we do it every month, sometimes more than not once a month, but generally once a month, especially in the summer months. So we do it once a month
In person.
and in person.
Right.
There's a conference room in our office building that's
Good.
a larger area, and it's free. We ask people what they want to know, and they tell us what they want to know, and ask the questions, and we answer the questions either there or throughout a presentation. If there's a presentation, usually a small presentation on the basics. And then basically, if you do go that free estate planning essentials workshop, we also give you a free 1 hour vision meeting without charge. What that means is we look at your existing documents, if you have any, and we see if your goals are being met. If they are, we tell you. If they're not, we tell you whatever it is. We just do an examination and it's free, no obligation.
Good.
Just if you want to do that, you have that opportunity to do that. If you wanted to take advantage of that, you would just either look online at dallaselderlawyer.com, just like these videos are on YouTube or on dallaselderlawyer.com, or you could sign up online at not only sign up online, like I said, at Dallas Elder Lawyer, but call 214-720-0102. That's 214-720-0102.
Very good.
Well, thank you, Don, for joining us from live from New York.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like sounds like Saturday Night Live. I don't know.
Right. Something
Uh,
like that.
well, Rochester's New York City. What's the difference, right?
Exactly.
Till next time, Don. Good talking to you.
Thank you.